Guys, do you really know the story of Romeo and Juliet? Like, seriously? And that's when Romeo saw Juliet. Hey guys, this is Aathira. So today the topic is about one of the most famous play of William Shakespeare. Yes, it's none other than the Romeo and Juliet. These characters got so famous that they are regarded as the archetypal young lovers. I came across some juvenile couples who considered themselves as the characters of this play, and to my surprise, I also saw some of the Instagram accounts with the username as Romeo and Juliet, and that's when I wondered, guys, do you actually know the story of Romeo and Juliet? Like, seriously? I decided to make a video on it to let everyone know about the actual story of this play. So before we get into the video, I wanted you people to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it yet. This story takes place in the city of Verona, where lived two prominent families. So the families are the Montagues and the Capulets. These two families are traditional enemies. So the hatred they both had for each other was so strong that it actually affected their servants as well. So this guy, Romeo, was the son of Montagues, and he was in love with Rosalind. But Rosalind was not that much happy with his proposal and she didn't accept him as such. So Romeo was so much dejected and he was so sad that his love was unsuccessful. Still, Romeo couldn't put her out of her mind or stop thinking of her because he was very much attracted to Rosalind and she was one such amazing beauty. Then comes Juliet, who was the younger daughter of the Capulets. So there comes a man called Paris, who was a prince, and he got attracted to Juliet and asked for her hand in the way of marriage to Capulets. And Capulets said him that, okay, I'll arrange a banquet and I'll gather all the beautiful girls in the town there, and if you still love my girl, then sure, I'll get you married to her. And Paris was okay with it because he made his choice already clear that he is going to get married to Juliet. Romeo and Benvolio. So Benvolio is the guy who is a friend to Romeo, and they both decided to attend the banquet as they got the information by somewhere, and they went there to meet Rosalind because she was also a part of Capulet's family. Mercutio was also being invited to the party, and this guy was a mutual friend to both Montagues and Capulets. The banquet was almost started and everyone were wearing their mask and dancing in the ball. That's when Romeo saw Juliet and he was spellbound by her beauty, like he was very much fascinated by the way she looked. So Tybalt was a guy who was a nephew of Lady Capulet, and he saw Romeo muttering the words like, oh God, she's so beautiful, and Tybalt recognized him that he is not a part of Capulet's family and he is the member of Montague's family, and he got furious. Tybalt disclosed the identity of Romeo, and that's when Capulet stopped him and said that, okay, just leave him, he is a very good and noble guy, he's so well behaved. And Tybalt got so angry and stormed out of the house. Though all the friends of Romeo left, he couldn't move out of the house because he was very much love smitten by Juliet, and it was the same with her case also. So he managed somehow and gathered the courage to go and meet her at the balcony. And they spent some time together and they confessed the love they both had for each other. So Juliet wanted to know whether the love Romeo has for her is true or not. So she asked her to tell her. His reply through the messenger next day, and Romeo left her. So Romeo went to Father Lawrence, who was like a priest and also like a father to Romeo, and he requested him to get him married to Juliet. Ferrer was first shocked because he had shifted his passion, like his love from Rosalind to Juliet in a very short time, and he was very much fond of Romeo, so he couldn't deny his request and accepted it. So the very next day after the banquet, Romeo sent his reply through the maid of Juliet, and he asked Juliet to come to the cell, to the place of Friar Lawrence, to get married. So yes, they both got married the next day itself. So after getting married, when they came out of the place of Friar Lawrence, so they met Benvolio and Mercutio and also Tybalt and his friends. And that's when Tybalt challenged for his swords fight at that moment. So first Romeo was not okay with it because he was his wife's cousin, and they both are married now, so he has some respect for him as well. And this side, both of his friends were ready for the sword fight, and they were almost fighting, and Romeo was trying his best to stop the fight. So when Romeo holded the hands of Mercutio to stop the fight, so Tybalt took the advantage of his lack of defense and then stabbed him. So Romeo got very much furious because he killed his friend and stabbed Tybalt as well. And this news reached the prince, and Benvolio said everything that happened in the scene to the prince. Though what Romeo did is justifying, killing a person is a crime, so they forbid Romeo from the kingdom. When this information reached Juliet, she was so saddened by the banishment of her husband and the death of her cousin Tybalt. Romeo couldn't think of living apart from his new married wife. Romeo even thought about killing himself, but then he stopped. It is considered as a sin, as said by Friar Lawrence. So he managed to go and meet Juliet that night, and they both spent the night together, and the next day Romeo left to Mantua for his banishment. Meanwhile, the father of Juliet has planned for the wedding with Paris on Thursday. Juliet was not okay with the marriage, and she couldn't find the help of anyone at that cause. So she reached Fair Lawrence and said him about the problems that she is suffering from. And that's when the tragedy of this play begins. So Fair Lawrence said her about a plan which might work or which might end up with some trouble as well. So the plan is he will give her a portion of drugs. If she consumes it, she will sleep to death. That is, she will sleep at least for 42 hours, and people might think that she is dead, and they will bury her in the water. Fair Lawrence will make arrangement for Romeo to arrive here, and after 42 hours, Juliet will again open her eyes and get her life back, so they both can elope together. Juliet was okay with this plan, and she went to his father and said that she will accept marriage with Paris. And to her surprise, the father, since her daughter was very much happy with it, he advanced the marriage from Thursday to Wednesday. And that's when the problem began. As her marriage was planned in advance, she drank the potion the night itself and informed Fair Lawrence about it. So this guy sent a messenger to Romeo about this play, about the drama that they are making, so that Romeo could come and help her. The next day, the whole Capulet family was plunged in sorrow because the marriage house has turned into a funeral. They found Juliet dead in her bed. Romeo got to know about the death of Juliet without the plan of this sleeping potion that Fair Lawrence gave, because this messenger that Fair Lawrence sent to Romeo had failed to give the information to Romeo. So Romeo rushed to the grave of Juliet with grief-stricken and started digging it. And that's when Paris, the fiancé of Juliet, arrived and saw that this guy from the family of Montagues is trying to desecrate Juliet's charm, who is a member of Capulet's family. And they challenged for a swords fight at the time, and Romeo killed Paris at that spot. And with the potion that he bought from Mantua, he drank it and he killed himself. Soon then, Fair Lawrence arrived to the place of Juliet's tomb, and he waked her Juliet from her sleep. Juliet was so shocked to see her husband as well as her fiancé being dead. She couldn't take the grief, so she took the dagger of Romeo and stabbed herself. So this play ends with a misery. So this is not a very happy ending play. This is a tragic play of William Shakespeare. One bonus point about this play is Juliet was 14 years old, kind of 13 to 14, and Romeo was a guy who is almost 20, like is nearing to 20. So guys, if you wanted your friends to watch or know about the story of Romeo and Juliet, do share this video with them and ask them to watch it. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do click on the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified for all the videos that I am posting. Until I meet you all in my next video, read, write and repeat.